Welcome back, everyone, to Wisdom Unveiled. I, before we get too far, just a quick reminder. This is a translation of conversations with Iranian philosophers. And sometimes, things might not come across perfectly. So apologies if anything seems off. Today, we're doing a deep dive on episode 33 of 40. And we're focusing on the words of Rumi, as discussed by Dr. Dinani and Dr. Larijani.
Wonderful.
You ever notice how we get so caught up in the everyday that we forget to really, look deeper?
Absolutely.
Well, Rumi was all about that, seeing beyond the obvious.
Yeah. Yeah.
Challenging us to question if we're really seeing things as they are or just getting stuck on labels and appearances.
It's a really interesting perspective. What I think is fascinating is how Rumi encourages us to kind of shift our perspective.
Yeah.
To move beyond seeing the world as just a collection of separate objects.
Right.
Dr. Dinani, for example, he uses the simple act of looking at a chair to illustrate this point. He asks, are we truly seeing the chair itself or the existence that allows the chair to be?
Whoa. That's a huge question. It really makes you realize how easily we can get caught up in the superficial, just taking things at face value without considering the deeper reality behind them. It's like we're so focused on the individual trees that we totally miss the forest.
Exactly. And Dr. Larijani, connects this idea to seeing the unseen by using an analogy of a scent filling a room.
I like it.
He suggests that the scent of truth is always present, permeating everything, but not everyone is tuned into it.
So it's not that this deeper reality is hidden, but that we're often just not paying attention.
That's right.
We're not sensitive to it.
Yeah.
Like how some people might have a keener sense of smell than others.
Precisely.
Oh, cool.
And Rumi uses this powerful metaphor of lifting a veil.
Oh, wow.
To describe the process of becoming more aware of this unseen reality. This veil represents all the attachments, illusions, limiting beliefs that we create within ourselves.
Yeah.
It's like we're putting on these blinders that prevent us from seeing things clearly.
So the obstacle isn't something external, but rather something we're constructing within our own minds. That's so interesting. But if the barrier is internal, how do we go about lifting this veil? How do we start to see more clearly?
Well, Rumi suggests that beauty can be a powerful catalyst in this process.
Okay.
Dr. Larijani points out that beauty has a unique ability to help us perceive the unity and the interconnectedness of all things.
Yeah.
Reminding us that everything is ultimately a manifestation of the same source.
Yeah, I've definitely experienced that feeling of awe and wonder when encountering something truly beautiful.
Yeah.
Whether it's a breathtaking landscape or a work of art that just moves me deeply.
Absolutely.
It's like in those moments, I get a glimpse of something larger than myself, a sense of connection to something beyond my individual experience.
Exactly. And Rumi urges us to cultivate that awareness, to slow down, savor those moments of beauty.
Yeah.
To shift our focus from the mental chatter to the direct experience of the present moment. It's about noticing the beauty in the everyday and the simple things. And allowing that beauty to awaken us to the deeper reality that lies beneath the surface.
That makes a lot of sense. But let's be honest, life isn't always, a walk in the park. There are plenty of things that can distract us from this inner work rate.
Absolutely. Rumi acknowledges the obstacles that can arise on this path.
Okay.
Dr. Dinani and Dr. Larijani both emphasize how things like fame, desire, and wealth, while seemingly appealing, can actually lead us astray.
Right.
They can tempt us to chase shadows instead of embracing substance.
It's interesting how those things are often seen as markers of success in our society. Yet Rumi is suggesting they can actually hinder our spiritual growth.
Yeah.
It's like we can get so caught up in chasing those external rewards that we lose sight of what truly matters.
Precisely. It's about recognizing those traps and remembering that true fulfillment comes from within, not from external validation or material possessions.
Yeah.
It requires a discerning mind.
Right.
An intellect that can see through these illusions.
Okay.
As Dr. Larijani reminds us, the only light you have is a light of intellect.
So it's not about rejecting the intellect.
Right.
But about refining it, using it as a tool for discernment and self-awareness. It's about cultivating an intellect that can help us navigate the challenges on this path,
Yeah.
and distinguish between what is truly valuable and what is merely a distraction.
Yes, and Dr. Diani adds that developing the intellect isn't simply about accumulating knowledge,
Okay.
but about cultivating wisdom, the ability to apply that knowledge to our lives in a meaningful way.
Yeah.
It's about using our intelligence to understand ourselves better,
Mm-hmm.
to see through our own illusions,
Right.
and to make choices that are aligned with our deepest values.
That's great.
Yeah. And this is where the concept of silence becomes, so crucial in Rumi's teachings.
Okay.
Dr. Dinani beautifully states, silence is the language of God. All else is poor translation.
That's a striking image. To be honest, silence is something I struggle with.
Yeah.
My mind's always buzzing with thoughts, plans, worries. It feels almost impossible to quiet it down.
It's definitely a practice.
Yeah.
And like any practice, it takes time and patience to develop.
Right.
But Dr. Larijani emphasizes that listening to the silence within is essential if we want to hear the voice of God, that inner wisdom that guides us.
So it's not just about external quiet, like finding a peaceful place away from noise, but about cultivating an inner stillness, a space where we can connect with a deeper level of knowing.
Exactly. Practices like meditation and mindfulness can be incredibly helpful in cultivating this inner silence. Dr. Dinani sees meditation as a journey inward, a return to the source.
Okay.
It's about taking time each day to simply be present, to observe our thoughts and emotions without judgment, and to allow ourselves to settle into that quiet space.
And mindfulness, it seems, is about bringing that same quality of presence into our everyday lives. I remember Dr. Larijani describing it as paying attention to the breath,
Yeah.
to the sensations of the body, to the sights and sounds around us. It's about becoming more attuned to the present moment, savoring the richness of our experience.
You put it beautifully. It's about noticing the details of our lives, the things we often take for granted, and appreciating the beauty that's all around us.
This all ties back so beautifully to knowing yourself, which is another key theme in Rumi's work. It's like that ancient Greek saying, know thyself, right?
Absolutely. Dr. Dinami asks this very pointed question, do you know yourself? But he's not talking about knowing your favorite color or what you do for a living.
Right.
It goes much deeper than that.
Right.
He uses the metaphor of a mirror. If the mirror is dirty, we can't see our reflection clearly.
So the dirt in this analogy would be all the limiting beliefs, preconceived notions and emotional baggage we carry that prevent us from seeing our true selves.
Precisely. We need to polish the mirror, clearing away those layers of conditioning to see ourselves honestly.
Yeah.
Dr. Dinani emphasizes that self-knowledge goes beyond superficial labels and requires a willingness to look inward, to honestly assess our strengths and weaknesses, our fears and aspirations.
This makes me think of Rumi's emphasis on shedding the masks we wear, the false personas we present to the world. It's about having the courage to be authentic, to show up as our true selves, even with all our imperfections.
It's about recognizing that our true self, with all its complexities and contradictions, is worthy of love and acceptance. And here's where it gets really interesting. Dr. Larijani suggests that as we gain a clearer understanding of ourselves, we start to see others more clearly too.
That makes a lot of sense. When we're more self-aware, we're less likely to project our own insecurities and judgments onto others. We become more compassionate and understanding, recognizing that everyone is on their own unique journey.
Exactly. And this leads us to one of Rumi's most powerful and perhaps most misunderstood concepts: surrender.
Okay.
It's a word that can evoke a lot of different reactions, often associated with weakness or giving up.
I know it seems counterintuitive. Why would we want to surrender? Wouldn't that mean giving up on our goals and aspirations?
Well, Rumi uses the term surrender not in a passive sense, but as a key to true freedom.
Okay.
Dr. Dinani clarifies this by saying that surrender is about trusting in a power greater than ourselves, letting go of the ego's tight grip, and allowing ourselves to be guided by a wisdom that goes beyond our limited understanding.
It's about acknowledging that we don't have all the answers and trusting that there's a greater intelligence at work in the universe guiding and supporting us.
And this is where Dr. Larijani adds a beautiful layer to the discussion.
Okay.
He says surrender is the key to unlocking the door to divine love. It's about opening our hearts to a deeper level of love and connection.
So it's not just about letting go of control, but about allowing ourselves to be receptive to a love that transcends our individual ego, a love that connects us to something much larger than ourselves. That's a really beautiful concept, but it also feels a bit daunting, to be honest. How do we even begin to practice this kind of surrender in our everyday lives?
It's a process, and it's different for everyone. It often starts with cultivating that inner stillness we talked about earlier, that space where we can connect with our intuition and our higher selves.
Oh, so practices like meditation and mindfulness could be seen as ways to prepare ourselves for surrender.
Absolutely. They help us create space for a deeper level of trust, to emerge trust in ourselves, trust in the process of life, and trust in something greater than ourselves.
And as we cultivate that trust, we can start to see the challenges we face in a new light. Difficulties become opportunities for growth, setbacks become redirections, and uncertainties become invitations to step into the unknown with courage and faith.
You've got it. It's about embracing the journey, knowing that we're guided and supported, even when the path ahead seems unclear. Surrender is not about giving up on our dreams or aspirations, but about aligning ourselves with a greater purpose, trusting that things are unfolding as they should.
So we're not relinquishing our agency, but rather choosing to collaborate with a larger force, recognizing that we're not alone in this journey. But doesn't Rumi also talk about the importance of the intellect in this process? How does that fit in with this idea of surrender, of letting go of control?
That's a great question, and it might seem paradoxical at first. But Rumi doesn't see the intellect as simply about gathering facts and information. He sees it as a tool for discernment, for seeing through the illusions that we create for ourselves.
So we're using our minds to understand their limitations, then letting go, allowing our hearts to lead the way.
Beautifully put. It's a delicate dance between the intellect and the heart, a process of learning and unlearning, of questioning and surrendering. Remember Dr. Dinani's quote, "Silence is the language of God." It's in that silence, that stillness, that we can truly hear the whispers of wisdom, the guidance that comes from beyond our rational minds.
And Dr. Laurie-Jani reminds us that if you want to hear the voice of God, listen to the silence within.
Exactly. It's about quieting the constant chatter of our thoughts, those anxieties and worries that keep us stuck in our heads, and creating space for a deeper level of knowing to emerge.
It seems like cultivating that inner silence is really the key to unlocking so much of Rumi's wisdom.
Yeah.
It's in that quiet space that we can connect with our true selves, hear the voice of intuition, and open ourselves to the transformative power of surrender.
And that's where practices like meditation and mindfulness become so valuable. You know, as Dr. Dinani describes it, meditation is like taking a journey inward, a return to the source. It's about creating that sacred space within ourselves where we can observe our thoughts and emotions without judgment, allowing ourselves to simply be.
And mindfulness, as Dr. Laurie-Jani explains, is about bringing that same quality of presence into our everyday experiences. It's about paying attention to the breath, to the sensations of the body, to the sights and sounds around us.
Right.
It's about savoring each moment, appreciating the simple things that we often overlook.
It's about waking up to the beauty that's already present in our lives, seeing the world with fresh eyes. And as we cultivate this mindful awareness, we start to see the interconnectedness of all things, realizing that we are not separate from the world around us, but rather an integral part of this vast web of existence.
It's like Rumi is guiding us on this journey of remembering who we truly are, shedding the layers of conditioning that have obscured our true nature.
He's inviting us to connect with that divine spark within, to awaken the eye of the heart, and to see the world with a clarity and love that transforms everything. It's a journey that requires courage, a willingness to face our shadows, and a deep trust in the unfolding of life.
This has been such a rich exploration of Rumi's teachings. I feel like we've only just scratched the surface, but I'm already starting to see the world in a new way, with a deeper appreciation for the beauty and interconnectedness of all things.
It's been a joy to dive into these profound concepts with you, and I really encourage our listeners to continue exploring Rumi's wisdom on their own, to find the practices and teachings that resonate with them, and to embrace this journey of self-discovery with an open heart and a curious mind.
And to close our deep dive today, I'd like to share a quote from Rumi that I find incredibly powerful and inspiring. He says, "Out beyond ideas of wrongdoing and right doing, there is a field. I'll meet you there."
That's a beautiful sentiment. It really speaks to the heart of Rumi's message. You know, inviting us to move beyond judgment, beyond duality, and to connect with something larger than ourselves. It's a reminder that the path to the unseen is ultimately a journey inward to that place within us where love, wisdom, and true connection reside.
It's about letting go of our preconceived notions and opening ourselves to a deeper level of experience, one that transcends the limitations of our ego and connects us to the boundless love that permeates all things. Thank you for joining us on this episode of Wisdom Unveiled. We hope you've enjoyed our exploration of Rumi's timeless wisdom, and we encourage you to continue seeking, exploring, and discovering the unseen beauty that lies within and all around you.
Until next time, may your path be illuminated by the light of truth and your heart filled with the joy of discovery.